Hey everybody. Uh, if you can see me and hear me, just give me a wave, a hello if you are around. There's two watching. So for those of you that are watching, could you let me know that you could hear me okay and see me okay? I'd appreciate that. This is just a very quick live, really just to wish you all peace for 2024. It is a new year beginning, but only from the point of view of the Gregorian calendar. It's a calendar new year. Hey, Christos. Thanks for letting me know that you can see me and hear me. Thank you. As I was saying, this is a new beginning of some kind from the point of view of 2023 completing. Hi, Rebecca. Peace indeed. Because the new year really begins at 0 degrees Aries, which is the 21st of March, right? That's when the sun ingresses into Aries, 0 degrees Aries. That is really the true new beginning. But like I said, in any case, we are, at that point where we are finishing 2023, as it were. So there is a sense of a new something anyway arriving. And I don't want to go into details. We all know what is going on, some more than others. Some are more in tune than others. And whoever you are and wherever you are and wherever you stand and whatever you believe, I think we can all agree to one very specific thing, and that is that we need to see peace. And as I often say, we will not see peace out there until we see it in our own heart. So that is on every single one of us. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you believe. Hey, Pebbles, much love. None of that matters. The component of each of us that is infinite, immutable consciousness, which basically means we can never be destroyed, but only change in form. And that is, when we are born, we take on a physical body, we take on the personality, the ego, and so forth, to enable us to have some kind of identity and an ability to express our journey, right, in every single life. So those journeys take on different identities, different locations in terms of where one will live on the earth. We are born into a particular family. It may be a particular religious stream we're born into. It may not be. My point is, it doesn't matter where we are born into those levels of the soul's desiring to experience, because every time we are born, the soul comes in with very specific desires that correspond to its evolutionary path. And everyone is at a different stage, right? A different level with all of that. And in the highest truth of truth, there is no right or wrong. That's a hard pill to swallow, because we can see a lot of wrongs, especially right now. I guess the main point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. We must all find within us, a spiritual and moral compass. And that spiritual and moral compass, I think, should look or needs to look or feel like what we might call heaven or unity or peace, regardless of the differences. We live in a world of diversity, a world of duality. And if you guys have any questions, you three watching, pop them in, or comments. We live in a world of diversity and duality. That's always been the case and will likely always be the case. And our evolutionary growth within that diversity is to arrive to some conscious position, some conscious awareness of our own personal growth and evolution, what that means for us, how we are engaging in that, what we are doing in that process without making somebody else's process either worse or better or right or wrong. The ability to be really objective, in other words, and detached to some extent, and teach and show others through love and through peace what that world can look like. That's what I feel, at least, anyway. So we are, living through the most extraordinary times, as everyone is aware. The extraordinarily profound transitions that are going on are beyond intense. And I think humanity is quite exhausted, really, and rightly so. It's been an intense cataclysmic show the last 3 years on every single spectrum. That's Pluto finishing his business at the end of Capricorn, and he hasn't finished yet. He's going to go into Aquarius. Sorry to use the gender he. It's not really a he, it's the soul, actually, the soul of the universe and the soul of every individual. So it's a planetary energy, but we just tend to, bring in he, she. So I apologize for that. But Pluto will ingress into Aquarius, as we all know, very early next year, which is next year is a couple of days away. And then, retrograde and go back into Capricorn one last time. So that immediately feels to me like 2024 is not necessarily going to be any easier than what 2023 was. It's everything just gets ramped up and intensified at very extreme rates when a planet like Pluto is completing a journey, an evolutionary journey. So we still have a lot more to contend with, to be challenged by, to work through, to understand. And regardless of what that looks like for us individually, because we all have our own personal journey. Snails. I'm not sure what your comment means. Bean subscriber. Anyway, I'm not going to respond to comments. I don't understand. Sorry. Regardless of what our own journey is, because we all have our own unique journey, we are still part of this collective human race and collective family. We are all, in truth, this united soul family. It's very difficult for our left brain, Gemini mind, to grasp that, because it's not a rational, logical concept. It's something that really only, I think, the soul can recognize and can understand. And if we try to understand that through our mind, our intellect, our thoughts, our perceptions, it's just not possible. So there is a knowing about this, I think, within the soul itself. The structure of the soul itself has this knowing, has this wisdom, has this insight, and has this understanding. So moving forward into 2024, let's all try to bring peace and love into every single situation as much as we can, just as much as we can. I think that's vital for the survival of our mental well-being as well. You know, with this technological age, I don't need to tell you all, we are stepping into a zone where the level of dishonesty and confusion and fabrication and not knowing what is real, what has been, you know, deliberately created to be perceived in a particular way and so forth. These days, you don't know what information belongs to who, whether that's a real video, whether that, you know, it's really very, very chaotic at that mundane personality, unconscious level on the material plane. It is like a psychotic soup mix. And for us to have some centeredness and some clarity and some awareness and insight, we really do have to go back into ourselves. The more we look for it out there, the more lost we will become. That's inevitable. It's so obvious. So I think aligning with the God source creation to all things. Hey, Patrick. Prayer, meditation, stillness, nature, love, God, goddess. I guess a lot of those things are somewhat abstract. And they are things that are not things that we can define. The world of definition is the world of Saturn, which is this 3D consensus reality. And that is important as well. We have to have boundaries, borders, definitions, and so forth. But on the other hand, in terms of our spirit self, our infinite self, there are no boundaries, borders, definitions. Everything is oneness, period. And to step into some type of experience, some type of feeling that might induce peace and truth and harmony, I don't think we can truly get to that through our mind, because our mind is overloaded with a minimum of 60,000 thoughts per day. Imagine that. We don't even know we have that many thoughts, but we do. So the mind is not the way to it. The mind may help us by reading certain things, listening to certain people speak, could be listening to music as well. Those things may serve as a sense of inspiration. And inspiration means to be in spirit, right? So it is important to stay aligned and consciously connecting to things that inspire us, even in the most difficult of times, perhaps even more so actually through cataclysmic, chaotic chapters closing off and finishing in the world, in the 3D material world, which we all know is driven by greed. If anybody was ever unaware of that or ever doubted that is a fact, I think now it would be impossible to not have some insight about that. you would have to be, well, I don't know what word to use, but it seems to me that just about everyone now is pretty clear on what drives the material world. And the further we allow ourselves to be influenced and allow our impulses to be driven by that, the further away we move from the divine source creation to all things, from God. It is factual. It's not my personal opinion. It is factual. So may 2024 be a year where we focus on these things through our heart center, our heart. Not the thoughts, but our heart. Our heart takes us there in that journey. That's really all I wanted to say. In terms of some wishes and prayers for the new year starting very soon. And I also wanted to remind you all that this year I've been teaching a lot of classes. And amen, Rebecca, yes. And I've just finished a 10-week block of classes, which was, it was such a beautiful journey. So much has gone into those that 10-week block of classes that I put together. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey. So much wisdom and so much of my knowledge and experience in astrology this lifetime of 25 years has gone into that. Each class is about 3.5 hours. They were supposed to be 2 hours each, and each one of them was at least 3 to 3.5. I think one was maybe 4. So they are quite in-depth, lengthy classes. They've all been recorded, so they are available. I've also done some workshops. There was a Pluto workshop and Venus Star Point workshop. Those 2 have been recorded, so anyone can have access to any of that material if you so wish. Just drop me an email and I can give you information about that. Hey, Rummy. Love to all, yes. And I'm about to start a new series of classes late January. And that series is going to be on all the planets, including Chiron, and various asteroid goddesses in particular, and also the asteroid Lucifer, which is very, very fascinating, a fascinating archetype to understand and to work with in the chart. Some people are scared of the name Lucifer because of the certain indoctrinations or teachings that have created a particular perspective and image of that word or archetype or character or whatever you want to call it. Fact is, Lucifer is an asteroid and it is in everybody's birth chart. All of us have Lucifer in our chart. So anyway, that archetype is really, really interesting. I've been exploring that in various charts of people that have expressed one particular component of that asteroid, which is evil, essentially. But anyway, there's a lot to say about that. So that'll be one that I'll be throwing in there with the asteroids. So if you're interested in learning about certain asteroids that I'll be teaching about, there's thousands upon thousands of asteroids, right? I don't know if you know that, but there are thousands of them. And there are many that I have worked with over the years, and I continue to explore more because literally there are thousands. It's just mind-boggling, actually. But the asteroids are very underrated in lots of schools of astrology. There are some individuals in particular, either astrological communities or schools or whatever you want to call them, that we'll talk about asteroids or we'll work with them, but for the majority, it's a no. They don't actually. And my experience has been that when you don't look at asteroids, you can miss so much of the picture. Furthermore, the fixed stars are another phenomenal layer that show us very, very, very specific storylines about any individual. So there are always a lot of things to learn in God's language, the goddess language, the language of the stars. So in my classes, I bring forth quite a lot of different lenses, because I have studied and worked with evolutionary, traditional, my latest newfound wisdom and jewel is Babylonian astrology, and that's what I'm currently trying to expand my toolkit, if you like, towards, and that includes looking at fixed stars and looking at the Venus pentagram in a completely different way to what is mostly taught online and has been for a while, which comes from Rumen Kolev's work, of course. So anyway, I bring all this sort of stuff in my classes, and you will never, ever, ever be bored in any of my classes. To the contrary, and this is not just my personal opinion coming from thinking that I'm so great. It's got nothing to do with that. It's really based on I can deliver what I'm saying. And the feedback has been there from all the people that have sat in my classes throughout 2023, and they're all rejoining in 2024. So that speaks for itself. The myths of the asteroid goddesses deeply resonate. Yeah, they are magical, mind-blowing, and sometimes like anything really, very, very revealing and can be very painful as well. Just to give an example, the asteroid Ceres, who is Demeter in Greek, she's a goddess of many different things. Agriculture, she's a mother goddess, she's a goddess of the earth. She's the daughter of Persephone. Her myth corresponds to the seasons, why we have the seasons on the earth. There are other myths that speak to the seasons as well, coming from Babylonian astrology as well. Because of course, Babylonian astrology it goes way, that's where it all started. So everything that has come subsequently has drawn and taken from those roots and that history and those timelines and so forth. But getting back to Ceres, she's a very difficult asteroid goddess. And it doesn't matter how much you try and throw a positive spin on that goddess, when that goddess is activated, it is deeply, deeply painful. Deeply painful. When my father transcended this world, I had a Ceres return to the minute of when he left this world. See, my father was my mother as well, right? So that Ceres return, that's not the only thing that was activated in my chart. There were lots of things, but that's just one example. Ceres has been conjunct the Sun and Mars since the horror began in the Middle East. Ceres has been conjunct the Sun in Scorpio, the Sun in Sagittarius. the last couple of months. Now, is this a random thing? I don't think so. So Ceres is a really difficult asteroid, and she's very, very complex, and there's a lot to understand about it. She even connects to people who have food disorders like anorexia, bulimia, and things of that nature. There's so many layers to this goddess. Yeah, so the goddesses are phenomenal once you learn to understand and work with them. Juno, for example, is another very famous one, if you like, who was the wife of Zeus, Jupiter, and she corresponds to, again, many, many things. But when it comes to contractual marriage, as in that conventional contractual marriage, or even non-conventional marriage, because there is non-conventional marriage nowadays, isn't there? The world has really opened up to a lot of different ways of living and expressing one's love to different people and so on and so forth. But Juno will show up in matters of divorce, for example, contractual agreements, whether there are difficult things there or not, and otherwise, so there's heaps in the goddesses, heaps. Let me just see if I've missed any questions. Hello from Portland, Oregon. Hello, Portland, Oregon. Mary. Hi, Mary. I've had a couple of friends who come from Portland, Oregon. I've always been very interested and fascinated about that part of the United States. I've never been to the US, but most of my viewers are from the US, which is really interesting. And again, that's not a coincidence either. When I relocate my birth chart to the US, Venus is on the midheaven of my US chart. So there it is. Just another example of how as above, so below. Greetings, Lala Chacha. I love the names that people use. I find the history more interesting than ever lately. Yes, yes. He was the love of your life, so I understand. Yeah, how do you know that, Lala Chacha? You must have heard me speak about my father. Yes, he was and still is the love of my life. Thank you for writing that. That's very sweet. Thank you. Greetings, beautiful souls. Big hug, love to Anastasia and love to all. Thank you, Cosmic Fentry. Hey, you were there last time as well. Thank you for coming back. Sending love to you as well, Margarita. Juno in Gemini, Vesta in Cap, Pallas in Pisces with my son. Nice. I've got Juno in Gemini as well. Juno in Gemini, just very quickly, Juno in Gemini, there's a lot of things to say about that, but one very important and obvious theme that just about anybody who's got Jupiter in Gemini would agree with this, and I want to see if you can relate to this. In any of your relationships, and perhaps more specifically your intimate relationships, but even just your friendships or any relationships you have with people, communication is primary. You need your partner to communicate with you. If there's no communication, Juno is going to get pretty angry. Remember, Juno, she was the often referred to as the angry wife, right? Because of her experiences with Zeus. And the discovery chart for Juno, when she was discovered, because when every planet or asteroid is discovered, there's a moment in time for that. And there are charts for those moments in time, just as there is a birth chart for everyone. And when Juno was discovered, she was in Aries. How's that for the angry wife of Zeus? Again, as above, so below. Nothing is a coincidence, Isaac, Portland, Oregon here too. Another one from Portland. Hey, you guys in Portland. I love you guys there. Hey, Isaac. Queensland. Hey, all right. We got some Aussies. That's good to see as well. A little bit of down under vibes. I very rarely get Australians show up on my videos or anything else. So it's good to see an Aussie here. That's to Cosmic Supermarket. I really love the names you guys use. They always intrigue me. My Aries moon, love you, haha. I love you too, thank you. Love to talk about everything, lots of loves, yeah. Yeah, communication, Juno in Gemini, she's the goddess in the archetype that corresponds to communication, ruled by Mercury. So there's a very important need, because Juno is also the goddess of fairness, justice, and equality, right? So if Juno speaks to our relationships and our relationships from the perspective of having balance and equality in our relationships on whatever level that is, then when she's in Gemini, the matter comes up of having equality and fairness in the engagement and sharing, you know, of knowledge, of feelings, of whatever it is. Yeah. Cosmic Ventry, I'm learning a lot from you, Anastasia. I am incredibly grateful for your wisdom. And I'm from Melbourne. Wow. There's another Aussie. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Cosmic Ventry. I really appreciate your gratitude. It means a lot to me. Thank you. There are so many asteroids I love. Astrocartography. Yeah, visit Portland in June, July, October. November. Oh, I would love to come to. I'd love to visit the USA. Period. I've always had a strong resonance with New York City. I think that comes particularly from the music factor and dance, from specific time frames, you know. And I was supposed to come to the US before the COVID started. And I had this plan and this dream, and yeah, it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But, you know, I still dream of making that a reality at some point. And there are quite a few people that I would love to, you know, visit in the USA from astrological communities and otherwise. So I thank to all of you who have reached out to me and said, you know, anytime I come over to, you know, give you a call or an email or whatever. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you. Okay. You did my chart. I was up 7 a.m. from Pittsburgh area. Ah, la cha-cha, I did your chart. Huh. Well, I guess I don't remember because the name Lala Chacha is your YouTube name, right? So, and I can't see your picture very clearly in this little icon here. But I know if you emailed me, you know, with your date of birth, it will all just come back into my mind. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year, Margarita. Okay. Just seeing if there's any questions I missed. Lois. Ala Chacha, Lois. That name does ring a bell. I'm guessing it was over 3 years ago. Is that correct? Libra Sun, Virgo Ascendant, Aries Moon. I'd need to see the chart. That's what would really evoke my memory. But I have a feeling it was at least 2, if not 3 years ago. Anyway, it's lovely to see you here. Thank you for being here. Do you guys 2019? Yeah, told you 3 years ago. I knew it was, yeah, about that time. Does anybody have any thoughts or questions or comments at all about 2024? Anything that anybody wants to share? You are great. Thank you, Lola Chicha. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Doing my best, trying to do my best as much as I can. I can't believe, it's the 30th of December here in the Southern Hemisphere for me at the moment, for you guys as well in the Southern Hemisphere. It's 2023 has gone like a flash, flash, just like a Uranian Promethean flash in the sky. It's just gone like that. Just unbelievable how surreal everything feels and seems, and how sometimes time stands still, and sometimes I get this feeling that I'm outside of the time, of this Saturn time, because Saturn, Kronos, the god, lord of time, rules this time, literally rules time, and our chronological lifespan, which can be however long it's going to be. That's the soul's contract, however long it needs to be here. But all that is, defined and determined by Saturn, right? But when we go into Neptune, when we don't go into Neptune, literally, but, when we feel into the landscape of the soul and spirit and divinity, which is Neptune, there is no time, is there? That's why Pisces has no boundaries. I just did a class on Pisces yesterday. It was amazing. It was a 3-hour class. And so we talked about mythology, we talked about evolutionary astrology, we talked about traditional astrology, some esoteric astrology. Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces. We looked at some extraordinary chart examples, fixed stars that describe why this particular individual committed these particular crimes. So I like to look at really diverse characters when I look at chart examples for each class. So I'll look at the saints and the sinners, so to speak. And it's always really fascinating to explore the complexity and depth of the landscape of multiple layers in any chart that we look at. Can you share your thoughts on Gem Jupiter transits this coming year? I haven't really, I'll be honest, I haven't reflected on that very much, because I'm so excited about the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, April 19th, 2024. And although I am aware of, transits subsequently, I try to sort of refrain from jumping too far ahead with certain things. So at this point, I don't really have anything to say about it, because my focus really has been on the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. I think that's going to be a really significant portal of energy, collectively and for us individually. Look, Jupiter is in its detriment, in Gemini, it's in its detriment, right? So I guess I need to look at, is it going to catch up to a square to Neptune in Pisces? Because if that is the case, which it probably is, that's that's pretty problematic. First of all, Jupiter being in detriment is not the greatest thing. And although Jupiter is a benefic and it's not a difficult planet, and by the way, you guys can hit the super button for questions if you appreciate the answers or whatever the case. Just in just thinking about the level of verbal, what I like to call verbal diarrhea in the collective soup mix, right, of information, the level of information that has been false, right, is actually astronomical. It's out of this world, right? So Jupiter in Gemini concerns me from that level. And also Gemini is the archetype that will split everything up. It's the archetype that splits everything up into good, bad, right, wrong. So we're going to see, I think, and I'm really answering your question now just based on my intuitive feeling in this present moment without having given it any thought. I think we're going to see a lot of issues around misinformation, and a lot more than previously, because the last time Jupiter was in Gemini was 12 years ago. The world is very different to what it was 12 years ago. So the misinformation factor is going to be huge with Jupiter in Gemini, and especially if it squares that Neptune in Pisces. Just a lot more BS, a lot more deception, in short. There's much more to it, but that's what comes up immediately. I just forgot who asked me that question. It was Cosmic Supermarket. So, yeah, hopefully that gives you some sense. Yeah, USA's Pluto return. Interesting to get your opinion. I probably won't unpack that right now. It's too complex. There's too many layers to even begin. I have briefly touched on it here and there in some videos, throughout 2023. It's been the most talked about return, if you like, because it's so huge for USA. But it's I mean, on that mundane external level, it's so obvious, isn't it? Look at the crisis with the governments, with money systems, health systems. It's just chaos everywhere, right? That's evident. But we must remember, though, Pluto will be the ultimate force to expose everything that is hidden. And that is actually encouraging, as much as it's uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable. People prefer to be in a slumber. They prefer to be asleep. Don't want to know about it. So when things are exposed and revealed, which they are more now than ever in our lifetime, what comes after is the rebirth. So we mustn't forget that. But when Pluto is exposing and revealing things, it has to demolish whatever it's bringing up to be seen. It has to be demolished before the phoenix can rise from the ashes, right? So the rebirth can begin. So we are all stepping into new paradigms, new realities, a new rebirth, universally, collectively. In certain countries, more of that is going on. And then, of course, our own individual, position within that as well. The internet, Loba Etol. I apologize for not Loba. I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce that. just going to read your comment. You are right. The internet was useful because it made information and education more accessible, but nowadays it's more difficult to verify the reliability of the information online. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, and it's going to get worse before it gets better with that. What's it called? GP chat, you know, the AI stuff and whatnot, impersonating people's voices, stealing people's writing material, thoughts, ideas, and making them their own, and people pretending to be astrologers and knowing how to do readings, and all they're doing is using the GP chat to create, you know, some report or reading for somebody. Oh, it's just so sad. But you know what? In one way, it doesn't surprise me because I've always known, even when I started astrology back in the day where there were no computers, no internet, that's how long I've been working with the stars in this life. I was always very aware that even though you're stepping into the world of astrology, into a community of souls that we like to think are more conscious, are more evolved, have a greater moral compass, and so on and so forth, it doesn't necessarily follow that just because somebody practices or studies or pretends to be an astrologer is going to have an ethical, moral compass in whatever they're doing with it. So that's, you know, that's the whole thing about the darkness and the light that exist within every soul and every individual. Like I said before, the asteroid Lucifer is in everybody's chart. Everyone's a sinner and everyone's a saint, has been or will be. Fiona, dang, I'll have to watch the replay. Hey, Fee. You're welcome, Cosmic Serpent. Hello from Oklahoma. Hello, Robin Evans. Thank you for joining. Sag, Sun, and Cap rising with Venus in first house. I was born with Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Libra. Oh, that's lovely. Born with a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. That is an awesome conjunction. Dad's sun is in the, okay, I think there may be some conversations here going on between you guys, so it's a little bit out of context for me. So I'll just look to see if there's any other questions. Many different levels of consciousness here on good old Earth. Hell yeah. Sure is. Yeah. Okay, so if you've just jumped on, do watch the replay because I do mention some details about my astrology classes. And just to finish up, I'll just mention it again. I've got a new series of classes beginning late January of 2024. And I use evolutionary astrology, traditional astrology, esoteric astrology, Babylonian astrology, right, in my classes. So there's a lot there. Lots of chart examples. The classes are highly valuable. Whether you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced, you will greatly benefit. So reach out if you're interested. The next series will be on all the planets, including Chiron and various asteroids as well. And there's lots of other classes already available and workshops as well. So it depends what you're interested in. Yeah, just shoot me an email if you want to know more. Thanks, Robin Evans. No one has hit it yet. The thumbs up. I'll hit the thumbs up, but I'd love it if people could hit the super chat as well. That would be appreciative. Be watching the replay. Thank you, Robin. Robin, where are you from? Robin Evans, where are you from? Thank you, Fee. Thanks, DJ. Oklahoma. Yeah, okay, USA. Awesome. I have so many people that I would love to meet when I come to the USA. One day I will make it. It has to happen this lifetime. God willing, as I like to say, God willing, near Tulsa. Yeah, I've never been to the USA, but always, always, always wanted to come there, and I will at some point. Okay, guys, wishing you all peace and love and harmony and blessings for 2024. And you'll be seeing me do a lot. Well, I'll be starting to do live streams now that I've figured out how to do them. Thank you, Pebbles. These live chats are so trippy. Love them. Thanks, TJ. Yeah, I'm Happy New Year, Mary McLean. Thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you, Loba. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lala Chacha. That name, I love it. It's awesome. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot more live streams in 2024, as I said. And interestingly enough, because, Mercury is retrograde, right? And this particular Mercury retrograde for me personally has really moved a lot of things around. Brought in some problems, some challenges, and it also brought in the magic as well. So it's been a really impactful retrograde journey for me, this Mercury, because it does a lot of different things in my own chart. But actually, I figured out how to live stream during Mercury retrograde, which is, and I've said this many times before, but I'll remind you all, when planets go retrograde, there's a lot of things that can be cleared up, resolved, and learnt. You can learn totally new things during a Mercury retrograde period. And I learned how to live stream. And someone might think, well, that's not a big deal. Well, it is for me because I had no clue how to do it. And it's not just like you hit one button and bang, off you go. There's a few things you've got to work out and adjust and so on and so forth. And I'm not a tech person at all. I just know the bare minimum, really, when it comes to technology. My forte is in the stars and sharing the wisdom of the stars and speaking to that and learning about that every single day. I try to learn something new every single day. But technology, got very little patience. But I think Uranus and Mercury, which are two planets that definitely connect to computers, right? They're always blessing me in some kind of way, because even when I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I just end up winging it. I end up just somehow figuring it out, and I just wing it and boom, off I go. So I am forever grateful to the gods and the goddesses. Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, Cosmic Fern Tree, and infinite blessings. And big love, yes, to all of you. Thank you so much. So you'll see a lot more of me in live streams next year. I won't plan them. I'll just do them randomly. And I might try and plan and set a date, I guess, at certain times if I can, just to give you guys a bit of notice. And then sometimes I might just randomly come on. I will be sticking to doing, my normal schedule of videos, new moon, full moon, and other transits as well. But I'm really loving the live chats because I'm feeling, I just feel more of a connection with you when I can see your questions or your comments or your appreciation. It's fun, actually. It's just a lot of fun, and it makes me smile. And I haven't been smiling very much at all of late, except when I look at my gorgeous Coco princess. She makes me smile, whenever I look at her. But it's a good feeling to smile. Yeah. So I'm going to sign off, and don't forget, if you want to learn and study with me, reach out. You will. I almost have no doubt whatsoever. You will love it. In fact, I have no doubt. Really, I know you will, because I know those that come to me for a reading or a class. So it's usually the soul that decides that. And it's an energetic connection between myself and between you. If there's no energetic connection, you will not come to me and you won't be watching my YouTube channel. So, I always have that understanding and that realization and that appreciation to spirit and to source, aligning me with the souls that I am supposed to be connecting with, in this lifetime. And when that soul that approaches me is not for me, nowadays it takes me about sometimes a second, sometimes a day or two to figure it out. But very, very quickly I figure it out. It happened very recently, actually. Yeah, so it's interesting. Pluto, very close to my ascendant, pretty much on my ascendant as we speak. And the ascendant is how you view the world. That's one thing about the ascendant. The ascendant is the soul in esoteric astrology. It's the incarnation of the soul into the body. So if the ascendant is your eyes, Pluto on the ascendant, Pluto, as I've said many times, is X-ray vision. So with Pluto on my ascendant, I have had for a while, because Pluto has been close to my ascendant the last 2 years, but it hasn't quite gotten to be exactly conjunct yet. That happens in 2024. It's an extraordinary journey, Pluto on the ascendant, because Pluto in the 12th house, you'll either survive it. It's very much do or die. It is so intense, guys. Seeing if there's anything. Keep smiling because it makes people wonder what you've been up to. Does it? Does it make you wonder what I've been up to? No, I'm smiling in the moment. Right now, I'm smiling in the moment because I'm just feeling a little bit of joy, just connecting with you guys. I wasn't feeling any joy before I started this live. I was feeling very heavy-hearted and very sad, with what is happening. Interesting. I'll have Pluto conjunct my ascendant natally. Yeah, Keith. So you've been through Pluto in the 12th house. You've survived that. Get ready for a brand new life. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you very, very soon. Much love, Venus star blessings, and wishing you all peace and harmony and love for 2024. See you soon. Thanks for coming on.